Hey, beautiful, happy, healthy women community. I am so excited today because I get to do something fabulous. I get to introduce you to our very new trailblazer down here in South Surrey, British Columbia. And so, for those of you who don't know, we have a beautiful branch out here in BC and it is growing and thriving. And we have the beautiful Amritha with us today, who is our new trailblazer. And I'm so excited about that. First of all, welcome here. I'm I I remember the first time I met you, I'm like, oh my word, she's so lovely. I adore her. And then when you came and you went, I think I want to be a bigger part of Happy Healthy Women. I'm like, yes. I was so excited. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, first of all, so that we can get to know you, and then what kind of attracted you to Happy Healthy Women?
Yeah, thank you, Meg. I am also super excited to be here and really grateful as well. And thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Um, yeah, so I just completely lost the question. I got excited.
Well, that's no problem. I love that. It's such a funny thing because for me, when I'm part of a new community or when I start something new, I am always walking into the situation like I'm completely enthralled with how does everything work and what's all happening. And so it's so easy to go, well, wait, I've lost myself in the experience. Tell me what you just asked again. But I'm glad you paused because what I just realized is I immediately dived into wanting to know everything about you without telling people what you do first, which is that you're a health and habits coach. So that's how you're joining us here in Happy Healthy Women. So you and I were both just too excited.
Yeah.
The question that I asked is, we would love to learn a little bit more about you, about who you are as a human being, and then what kind of brought you to Happy Healthy Women.
Yeah. So my name, Amritha. I was born in India, but I was raised in Dubai. So my mom brought me into Dubai when I was just a few months old, probably I think a month or so. And ever since then, I've been there. I went to school over there and around 16 years, I would say. So basically, Dubai is kind of like home to me,
Mm.
even though like I have family and a lot of family and friends back in India. And a little background about me is I am a science person. So I did my bachelor's in genetics, microbiology, and chemistry, and I got that done in India. And then I went to California where I did my master's in forensic science. So I graduated with UC Davis, and that's just the career and the that side, the aspect of me. But me as a person, I love dancing. Dance is my passion, and I'm very much into the artsy side. I like everything related to arts, arts and cultures. And I also got into coaching a few years after that. And it was only during the pandemic that I actually got certified with the J. Shetty Certification School. I love that community. And it's only recently that I've taken up coaching as a full-time role. So what I do now is I help working professionals break bad habits and build sustainable habits towards a consistent, healthy lifestyle. And what brought me to Happy Healthy Women is obviously I met Meg and this wonderful community via the Authentically Connecting Coffee Meet.
Yep.
And yeah, it was via meetups. And I always left, after these sessions, I always left feeling very connected and inspired and, very happy. And then I kept attending them. And the reason I attended those where I had this missing uh, community feeling after coming to this country. Like I just moved to this country like a couple of years ago, and I was missing that community. And especially after I got here and I kind of got settled with a job, the pandemic hit and then everything was remote, and like we were not supposed to meet people and connect with people. So that was what I was missing. And when I joined these Authentically Connecting Coffees, I found that, oh, I got this community now. I can like be myself and share experiences, and we share, like we have different topics that used to bring and talk about that. And it felt like it was a channel for me to like express my emotions and express my viewpoints, and also like get to know people and learn and grow from each other. So yeah, so that's what. So when I got this opportunity that I could actually become a trailblazer with the community, I was like, why not? I could use this opportunity and share my experiences and what I have learned to other people as well. So yeah, that's why I've joined this community now.
I love that. And I love that you give us some background on who you are, because the truth of the matter is come you come with so much wisdom and knowledge, and it's not just what you've learned, it's also the way that you are connected to yourself, right? And so I love that, we know your background, we know kind of the vein through which you've come to the point where you are now, but there's also a part of you, and I noticed it immediately, that just is in tune with your innate wisdom. Right. And I remember even just the first authentically connecting coffee that you came to, you said something and I went, oh, she gets, there's something she gets. And it stood out to me so immediately. And I think that that's a beautiful thing, because it's really, really important to educate yourself. It's really important to say, like, look, I'm going to learn as much as I can about the things that I'm passionate about, but it's also super important to go, there's a part of me that's so connected to my inner self that I also know my own wisdom, and bringing both of those to your coaching practice, I think is so valuable. And it's a little bit like how you're both very, very sciencey, but very, very artsy, right? Like you have this beautiful mix of two sides that I think just makes you so fantastically unique. And I love that. And so I know that the people that work with you, I know the people that, you're passionate about helping, are going to be just so inspired and helped by you. So I love that. I love what you bring. My
Thank you,
question,
Meg.
my question for you is this: what made you passionate about the type of coaching that you do? What made you go like, oh, I want to help successful people create good habits and break bad habits? What kind of inspired that?
Yeah, so the thing is, what inspired me about coaching and why I took this path is because I believe that everyone has an inner power or potential, which, when tapped into, they can create wonders for themselves and the people around them. And I want to raise that awareness so that everyone can tap into their strengths to achieve what they're truly passionate about, and without feeling any inhibition and with full confidence. So why I specifically dive deep into health and habits is because the skeleton of everything that we do in a day-to-day basis is because of the habits that we build, or the habits that we create, right? And also my coaching style is based on positive psychology. So what I do is I dig deep into why a person thinks a certain way, or why a person does something a certain way, or why they feel that way. And I find out from where these emotions or these inhibitions are coming from, or these negative thoughts or negative self-talks are coming from, and use a person's strengths and their positive characteristics to overcome these inhibitions and negative beliefs. So if you look specifically in terms of building habits, or like habits towards a healthy lifestyle, I work on something called as SMART goals. Like it's very common in the corporate field, right? Like goal setting with SMART goals. So it's SMART goals and accountability, where I work on breaking down this big goal into smaller chunks, and then we work one by one on, uh, getting those small goals done, and that way we can like get to this big, accomplish this big massive goal. So yeah.
I think that's so fascinating, because what I love about what you just said is this breakdown of a myth that we all have, which is successful people don't struggle. Right? Like there's sort of this myth that if you're at this level of success, you don't struggle, you don't, you must have a great foundation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what we become more and more aware of is you can be a successful person, but if you don't have a foundation to maintain that, it's only a matter of time before that crumbles, one. And if you don't have a foundation to sustain that, you're only going to get to a certain level. And so I love that you're going, no, I'm going to go right to that foundation of what are your habits? How are you taking care of yourself? And how are you creating a system for yourself where you can go, I can break down these things into chunkable sizes so that not only can I have more success in my life, but I can also sustain that success in a way that is healthy for me, healthy for my environment, healthy for the impact that I want to make on the community.
Yeah, exactly. So just like you said, like, a lot of people think that, oh, successful people, they're probably talented or they're really hardworking, or they just have everything that they need to get them successful. But that's not true. Like every one of us can do what the other person is doing. It's just a matter of tapping into your strengths and finding how you can use it to get to where you want to go. And yes, it looks like a big goal and a big thing in front of us, like a big rock, but it's all
Yeah.
about like breaking it down into small pieces and just devouring it one by one, and then eventually we'll get to the whole thing. I mean that
Yeah.
works in everything, like even in life. Like we do everything step by step, right? We take our life one day at a time. We're not going to reach the end like today unless something
Yeah.
happens.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what? That is a good point. And I think that that's actually a really, really important point, that what you're encouraging people to do is a reconnection with the innate wisdom we already have. We can only take a moment at a time. We can only take a day at a time. So yes, we want to create this beautiful life, but what we have to work with is this moment right here,
Yeah,
right? And how we deal with this moment right here is directly going to affect if we get that lifestyle or life that we actually want. And so
yeah,
what I find so encouraging about that is you're really connecting people to what is authentic to humanity anyway, right? Like for me, I'm always such a big advocate for going, what is my human nature and how do I work with it, not how do I try to modify my human nature to live outside of how human beings naturally like to live, right? And so this
yeah,
idea of this moment, this part of the goal, this step is what I'm focusing on right now. And then the next, and then the next, and then the next, and then I get there. Because so often, I'm curious about your thoughts on this. Actually, I'd really like to hear what you have to say. So often we are told, like, dream really big, right? Like, what's your dream, and then supersize it, like just make it even bigger. And I'm curious because there's some backlash towards that, with this idea of when you set a goal that big, it actually unmotivates you because it seems too much, instead of motivates you because you're so inspired. And so I would love to hear kind of your feedback on that. Do you find that to be true, or is there a misconception there that we're not understanding, or what are your thoughts on that?
yeah. So this is just my opinion. Yes, it's good to dream big, but I would still think to dream something that is doable by you. So say if X is doable by me, I would dream a little bit more than that. Maybe not too far ahead, right? So maybe not like become a millionaire or a billionaire in like a year or something, but something that's doable and a little bit more than that, so that we actually get to that finish line or that end point. Maybe not too far, but at least we get to that, the little goal or dream that we have. So yeah, it's true that when we dream very big, or we dream something like really like really big, we might get demotivated that, oh, I'm not going to be able to do that. But I think also sometimes it is good to dream a little bit big, so at least we kind of get halfway through, or kind of get 60% there at least. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's my feedback.
I like that. So it's dream just big enough, instead of,
And maybe
right?
a
Like
little bit
just,
more.
and a little bit more.
Be
Dream
big.
just big
Yeah.
enough that it's a challenge. I love that. So another question, because now I'm just all full. I'm full of questions. Now I'm curious. I'm like,
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
pick you. I
I
want
love
to
it.
pick your brain. I want to
Yes,
pick your
yes.
brain.
Let's do it.
When you have a client who is coming to you saying, "Here are my goals. This is what I want my life to look like." What do you normally recommend? Do you go, okay, let's look at your entire life and work at it completely, all at once? Let's set goals in all these different areas. Let's set health goals. Let's set relationship goals. Let's do that. Or do you narrow it down to say, let's pick a part of your life, let's work there, and then let's let the ripples kind of go into the rest of the areas of your life? Or what do you kind of recommend for people? Because we just had New Year's, and you know what happens in New Year's, people set a gazillion goals in all kinds of areas. um Sometimes we reach them, sometimes we don't. So I'm curious about where you land there, or is that very individual, like depending on the individual?
Yeah, so it depends on the individual, but and it also depends on what they want to achieve. So, say for example, if someone comes to me and they say that, okay, this year I want to achieve this, and then they have five different things, right? So yes, I will analyze and check where these five different things fall in, as in what different areas of their life they fall, and then I basically ask the client to pick what they want to start working on first, and then move ahead. So I don't give my personal opinion as to like, hey, let's do this, or let's focus on this area, or let's just do the wheel of life. Yes, I do the wheel of life if I ask them like, hey, we have this exercise, the wheel of life, where we assess all the different areas. Do you want to do that, or do you want to just stick with this? If they say no, I just want to stick with these goals, I just start working with them on those goals. And yeah, but if they say they want to do the wheel of life, then we go over that. And then after the results, then I let them decide if they still want to go forward and work on their five different goals that they said, or do they want to work on how the wheel of life would recommend to work.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. And one of my favorite things about you is the way that you, for some reason, there's something about you, girl, that just makes things seem simple and doable. And I think that that is an incredible thing, because even when I'm listening to you talk, right, like my mind goes a million miles a minute. And I love how you're like, well, it could go this way, or this way, right? And you systemize it in such a beautiful way that makes me go, oh, okay, those are my options. And this is what I can do while still giving me control, right? And so you take all the craziness in my brain and you organize it, and then you give me my options, and then you allow me the opportunity to go, now, which one of those options would be right for you? And so I can only imagine, as your client, walking forward with you in that way would be such a beautiful thing, and make all the big goals seem so doable, because that's the environment that you create, this environment of it's doable. And I really, really love that. And so I'm excited because you're having some events come up this month. Tell us a little bit about the event you have coming up, what that's going to look like, and how we can participate in that.
Yeah, so the first event that I'm planning to host is a life audit, which we just talked about now. We will actually go over all the different areas of a person's life. So that would be like personal, career, finances, relationship, romance, relationship as in with family, friends, and then the romantic relationships, and so on and so forth. So in that workshop or that event, what I plan to do is I'll actually come up with a chart, a printed chart, and everyone can use it. And then we'll go over each and every area. And that way everyone gets to audit, or, like to see, like, a bird's eye view of exactly what area of their life they feel like, oh, this is my goal in this area, and they haven't really achieved that, or they've done really well in this area, so let's try to focus on this other area and try to get that pumping and that moving as well. So that's where the event would go. Like, that's where I plan to take it. I want everyone to know exactly where they are and exactly where they want to reach, so that they can start taking those little steps to get to where they actually want to go. So yeah, it's
That's
all about the life,
beautiful.
auditing life.
I love that. So basically, if you are the type of person that says, I need clarity, I need to look at my life, like you said, from a bird's eye view and go, where am I? Because, and that's why I love the wheel of life, or the life audit that you're talking about. Half
Yeah,
of the time, we don't know where we're going because we don't actually know where we are. We're
yeah,
very kind of confused about where we are, because we have that internal dialogue. Sometimes things are great, sometimes things are bad. Sometimes I like this, sometimes I like that. And we can get so confused with where we actually are that we go, I don't know. And what you're talking about, and I think is so beautiful, is that that gives that all clarity. All of a sudden, you see it all and you go, oh, now I understand. And coming up with a plan from that place is an
yeah.
incredible experience. I love that. Do you have a
Yeah.
day picked out for your workshop already, so that people can find it if they're looking on Eventbrite?
I don't have a date, but it's going to be in the last week of Feb. So somewhere in between 21st and 25th.
Perfect. Perfect. So, ladies, if you're listening on the last week of February, keep your eye out, because we are going to be having an amazing life audit workshop with the beautiful Amritha, and it's going to be an
Yay.
incredible event. I already know I'm excited. I'm totally pumped about it.
Me too.
So, thank you for one, coming to the events and being that authentic woman. Like you really do
Thank you.
exemplify what it means to be a happy, healthy woman. And I love that. And I'm so excited that you're here in a role where you can really offer women the beautiful wisdom that you have. And so I'm so excited that you're a trailblazer in Happy Healthy Women. I'm so excited that you're in South Surrey. I can't wait
Thank
to be able
you.
to
Me too.
attend your event. And yeah, I so appreciate you and all we're going to create. So thank you so much for joining me this morning. Thank you everyone for
Thank you,
listening.
Meg.
Yes, and there'll be links below to be able to see where you can connect with Amritha. We'll put the links for her workshops up really soon as we have the date finalized. And otherwise, yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. And thank you again, Amritha. We will see you again. Well, we're doing a Fearless Friday. So for those of
Yes.
you who want to hear more, next week we're doing a Fearless Friday, which you'll also find on the Facebook page. So you'll see us then. Until then, take good care, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Meg. And I just want to say I really appreciate you and everyone out here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. See you, everyone. Take good care.